Hi. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but this is for the ones who feel everything too deeply in a world that tells you to just move on. I've always had this thing in me, this sort of raw empathy that doesn't know how to shut off. And this is not going to be a very masculine sounding type video. And I feel pretty vulnerable talking about this, but I feel like I've got to be honest for, you know, one of the first times in my life. When I see someone being mistreated, for example, especially someone that's helpless, someone that can't defend themselves or that's unheard, who can't do anything about it, they have nobody to tell about. I can't just watch it and move on like many people could. I feel it. I feel it physically, emotionally, even spiritually. It's almost like it's me there receiving that pain. And it's heavy. Because the truth is, most people, they just don't, they don't really get that. They think, for example, for me, you're too sensitive or too emotional or you're being a little B word, like you're acting like a woman or whatever the case may be. You're acting like a baby, whatever you want to say. But what they don't see is the strength that it takes to carry emotions that big. The strength that it takes not to numb them or not to shut them down. And if you're like me, if you've been trying to grow, to heal, maybe even recover from something dark, you know how lonely that can be. Sometimes the very people that we thought would support us, they don't. Especially when, and it hurts, especially when they were really close people to you, people that you considered close friends, family members, even lovers, and they just wrote you off as being overall too much. Friends who push substances you fought so hard to walk away from, situations that make you feel like you either have to shrink yourself or just walk away, be alone. I've been there. Wanting to be social again, wanting to connect, but afraid of being judged, overwhelmed, or just not accepted for the person that you are now. It hurts. But I want to remind you, healing is not loud. It doesn't always look like winning. It's not a picture perfect scene like a poster. We can do it. It's solitude. It's solitary. Sometimes healing looks like saying no and then crying afterward. It looks like staying home instead of going out with people who don't see you. It looks like setting boundaries that cost your friendships but protect your soul. You may not be religious, but there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible, I believe. And there's something in the Bible that Jesus once said that stuck with me. A new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. That's not about fake kindness. That's about real love. Love that protects, love that lifts, love that sacrifices. That's the kind of love I want to give to others and to myself. And I'm not saying love in some awkward, corny, homo kind of way. I mean, when you feel, there have been times where I'm even people that I'm angry with or I think that I hate at the time, I reflect and feel like it's just another person. A person like me that's trying their best to get along with life, and God knows what they're going through in their lives that could be causing them pain and I'm not understanding. Just like I'm going through the pain that I'm going through and nobody's understanding. And sometimes just flat out ridiculing me for them or telling me that I shouldn't feel these things because I'm a man. But I'll be honest. Like I said before, sometimes I do get angry. I get angry at people who don't understand what I'm going through or who refuse to try to understand what I'm going through. And that's inappropriate. It's a bad reaction by me, and it's probably rooted in some past traumas. I get angry at people who have abandoned me when I needed the support. Angry that I've had to fight this battle mostly alone. Reaching out to people like the VA, the Veterans Association, to people like therapists, to things like ChatGPT, because I feel like I have nobody to actually speak to. And in those moments, I come back to this. Another quote from the Bible that I like. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. Be kind and compassionate to one another. Forgive each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. I found that so powerful. If one God can forgive an entire world's worth of evil and sin, I can forgive one or two people, right? And I notice that when I do it, there is a sense of relief. Where does that come from? And it's not because they deserve it, but because I deserve the peace. And with my peace, the relationship typically becomes peaceful as well between me and that other person. Letting go of anger isn't about excusing pain. It's about choosing not to carry someone else's darkness inside your own heart. It's about making room for healing, for joy, for the kind of quiet strength that says, I'm still here and I choose to care and love. So, if you're listening to this and you felt misunderstood in the past, if your heart feels too tender for this world sometimes, if you're trying to grow even when you're doing it in silence, I see you. And you're not alone. There are many of us that are going through this. It's not just me and it's not just you. And I want to tell you right now, I think we can get through that. Thank you for being here with me today. And I hope quite possibly to see you in future videos. Thank you.